Missal 1.3 is what we're talking about. I like to refer to it as RM 1.3. Kind of like your software, the Roman Missal gets updated. And the first, what we call the Roman Missal, came out in 1970. It always comes out in Latin first, and then it's translated into the various languages throughout the world. So 1970 it came out in Latin, revised version in 1975, that was 1.2, and revised again in 2002, that was 1.3. Now, like I said, each time you have to translate it into English. In 1970 and 1975, they used a formulary for translation called dynamic equivalency. Dynamic equivalence says, we're going to translate this pretty loosely because we want it in the common tongue of the people. In the common tongue of the people. And they came up with a pretty good translation. And you and I have been using that translation up till now. However, it had a result. And one of those, an unfortunate result. The unfortunate result was every single English-speaking country in the world had a different version of the Mass. Because they geared it towards their English and their common way of using English. And that goes against our Catholic nature. Catholic being universal or global. So, the English-speaking countries, together with Rome, have put together a new way of translating called formal equivalency. So they've gone from dynamic to formal. Formal is more respectful of the original source language. You know, if you're going to have 11 English-speaking countries come together, you have to have some agreed way of translating. You're not going to use England's English. You're not going to use Africa, parts of Africa, Australia. You're not going to use their English. They came together and said, well, let's use the Latin and the Bible languages and be very true to that and translate it well. And come up with one English version. So for the last 7 years, representatives of the 11 English-speaking countries formed a committee. And they've worked on coming up with one English translation for all English-speaking countries. So if you go to another English-speaking country, you'll recognize all the parts and you'll be able to participate. Now, the changes are going to seem like quite a bit in our language, but the original, the Latin, and the Bible, those really didn't change much at all. It's just the way we're translating is going to result in changes that we have to familiarize ourselves with. Does that make sense?